剣を極めし者なる。
全ては動き出した。もう誰も止めることはできない。
貴様があの時母を殺した。貴様をここで終わらせる。貴様の野望もこれで終わりじゃ。戦いとは最後にどちらが立っているか。それだけのこと。決着をつけるとするか。
Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to Session 2 of Tekken School. Today, as mentioned by the title, we will be going over Rage, basic combos, nothing fancy, no 10 strings, or, well, 10 strings and stuff like that, and walls. Since last time we were in a endless stage, I figure now we go over walls. I kinda want to change my plate. Huh. Yakuza. I think that's my next rank. Tekken King. Health gauge. Okay, whatever. So, if you watched the last Tekken School, you know we went over fundamentals and characters. Talked about how to find the character that's right for you. Not at length, but I did talk about, you know, every character's strengths and weaknesses to an extent. And we're gonna go to... I'm just gonna go to Mishima Dojo. So we can go over walls. Mishima Dojo is pretty much your baseline wall arena. It's small. 4 walls. It's just a square. Rectangle-ish. It's a weird shape. I think it's a rectangle. But anyway, first things first, we'll go over rage. I'm gonna go just really quick. Hold on. Filler time. I'm padding out my time. Is what I'm doing right now. It's high tier YouTube trick. Mishima Dojo 1. Let's go with no. Let's go with Moonsiders 1. That's a pretty chilled out song. Okay. Let's go back into Mishima Dojo with Moonsiders 1. Chilled out music.
Welcome to the King of Iron, Ryan Fury. Ryan Fury.
Every time I see the side selection, I just want Mokujin in this game.
Get ready for the next battle.
Mokujin or Tetsujin, I don't care which one they add, I want one of them. And I want combat. Mokujin or Tetsujin and combat. Please. Harada, please. But, let's go over Rage. In the last episode we went over counter hits. We went over basic buttons. We went over movement. And we went over throws and such. And full screen runs, blah blah blah. But basically, Rage, it isn't new. It's been around since I think Tekken Tag 2 or Tekken 6 added it first. I'm not sure because Tekken 7 is the first one I played since 4. I've said that before. I said 4 twice. But Rage in those games just upped your damage. Rage in this game has a few special properties. It ups your damage, of course. You know, I go from... With Rage, I do 11 damage on my 2. But without Rage, my 2 does 10 damage. You know, it's about a 10% boost on some attacks. It ups your damage. It doesn't give you counter property. Because that'd be a little cheap. But the 2 new things they added with Rage in this game are Rage Arts and Rage. Now, Rage Arts can be activated through either the correct button press, or if you're on console, R1 can activate your Rage Art. You can either one button it, or you can do the full command. And what a Rage Art does is it basically gives you, it's since Rage only activates when you're in the orange part of your health bar, your last 20% of HP, a Rage Art is basically a last ditch effort to save your skin. And, you know, they can be comboed together. Basically, your Rage Art is a cinematic finisher. Does about, I'd say, depending on the character, it can do anywhere between 40 and 60% damage. I think Brian's is about 32. Let's check one more time. It's 55 damage. It's about 30%. So you don't want to just toss a Rage Art out. They're very easy to block. Most characters' Rage Arts hit high and mid, and they're very easy to punish. See, that leaves me an extreme disadvantage. But if you play a character like Lucky Chloe, her rage art hits low. Jack, his rage art will push you far enough away that you can't punish it properly. And a couple other characters. But basically, you want to keep a rage art, keep it in your pocket. You know, save it. You know, if you've got the opponent on the ropes, you know, say if you, say you land a combo with a corkscrew in it, and they're defenseless, you can land the rage art. It'll be unblockable, and it'll just give you free damage. If you land it on a corkscrewed opponent, that's free damage. You know? And that's a lot. That's a lot of damage. And if you and your opponent are both in rage, and your corkscrew combo doesn't actually knock them out, you can just go for a quick corkscrew and finish the fight quickly with the final rage art. But basically, what I would say about rage arts, they're a really cool addition. I've got nothing against the rage arts. I think they're neat. They make the last 20% HP lit. I'd say don't just use your rage art as soon as you get it, unless you're fighting the computer, of course. But if you're fighting somebody online, save your rage art for a good opportunity. You know, punish an attack, because rage arts. Let me do repeat action here. Record. Just record some ones. Okay. Rage arts are armored. See that? I just ate it. I'm just gonna eat it. Your rage art is armored against mids and lows. Unlike a power crush, which I went over in the last episode, your rage art is armored against lows, such as a snake edge. At least I think it is. I've never actually tried to land it on a low. So we're just gonna get some basic lows. I wasn't even recording. Just gonna do some basic lows. And then when he goes for his low, your rage art will eat lows. Unlike a power crush, your rage art will eat lows, mids, and highs. It'll eat every type of move. So it's got really good armor on it. Now again, I wouldn't recommend using it just in the middle of a combo or something. I'd recommend saving it for when you land a good corkscrew. Like, say for Brian, if you just want a quick corkscrew, you can do the forward back 2, forward forward 4, and then run into rage art for a solid 50% damage, maybe 55, you know, high damage. Quick ender to a fight, you know. If you're having trouble, you can just do that. You know, you can land it off a counter. Rage arts can be landed on airborne opponents. If I can just let me get him in the air real quick. Depending on the character, the rage art will come out faster or slower. With some characters, it'll come out a lot faster. Let me just, see, it'll hit an airborne opponent. So, I mean, if you don't have time to hit a corkscrew, if they don't have enough health to hit a corkscrew on them, you know, hit a rage art. If your health gets low and you're in the rage and the opponent's being reckless, you can land your rage art and eat their attacks. You can be beaten while in rage state, while you're activating your rage art. If you take enough damage to actually kill you, you will lose. Your rage art is armored, but it won't protect you from being knocked out. So you gotta be very careful about that. Basically, it's your last-ditch effort to save yourself. Now, the other property I talked about, Rage Drives, I prefer Rage Drives to Rage Arts. Your drive, depending on the character, can be a launcher, it can be a distance builder. With Leo, his Rage Drive will push them all the way across the screen. Heihachi, I think, is the same. With a character like Brian, you've got a launcher. And that's basically a high launch version of his counter back one. And they can be comboed. Now those leave you at a disadvantage as well. But it's a lot safer than landing a Rage Art and getting it blocked. The Rage Drive is your safer option. You know, with Brian, who I play a lot, you know, your Rage Art is going to leave you at a disadvantage. They're going to be still standing and everything. But the Rage Drive will put them in while standing. They'll be crouching. And you're recovered a lot faster. It's a safer option generally. Some characters' Rage Arts or Rage Drives are a lot slower. King's is slow. It's an Atlas Hammer. Most of them hit high or mid. Brian's is a mid. Leo's is a mid. I think Bob's is a low. Chloe's might be a low. King's is a mid. Etc. etc. It's basically your Rage Drive is an enhanced version of a basic move. You know, you've got your basic counter back one, which is a launcher, and then you've got your Rage Drive, which is a better counter back one. And launcher Rage Drives have a special property. For example, if you've got an enemy corkscrewed, like, we're just going to do this combo here, this sample combo. If you've got an enemy corkscrewed, if I can land a combo, okay. Whoops, drop my buttons. Okay, we're just gonna do a basic combo. There it is. For Rage Drives that are launchers, such as Brian's or King's, landing them on a stunned, corkscrewed, or airborne enemy will give you a special grounded state that can be followed up with attacks. Like, for example, we're going to land it on an airborne enemy. And that leaves him in a special grounded state that takes longer to recover from. Gives you the time to land, say, a Snake Edge or a ground combo, or a reset. You know, if you're good enough, if you know the right combos, you can land a full reset off that. Like, for example, we can do this. And I don't think Brian has any resets that'll put him back in the air. But, like, for example, let's switch over to King real quick. Let's look at Kings just for a second as an example of what you can do with a ground Rage or Rage Drive. I get them confused all the time. At switch to King. Go back to Mishima Dojo. And we're gonna do a little example of what you can do as somebody like King, who has a lot of throws. A lot of ground options, basically. King's Rage Drive is the same command as Brian's. Basically, with King, you've got your Atlas Hammer, which is the high launcher, and then you've got your Rage Drive, which is basically a special Atlas Hammer. Now, if we do Atlas Hammer, and then we drop him on the ground, we've got this grounded state that I was talking about earlier. And then if you're good enough with your King, like I'm not, hold on, let me go into the moves list real quick. I haven't played King in a while. Enemy face down by legs. Okay, so you can play King. You can land your Rage Art. Rage Drive. And then you've got the opportunity to do a ground throw. King is a very good character to use the Rage Drive on, because you've got a whole lot of opportunities to punish when they're on the ground. Like, say, for example, you land that, and then there's no I don't think there's any relaunches with King. But if you're fast enough, you know, while you've got them launched, you can land any of King's air throws. And then while they're on the ground, you can land any of his ground throws, big swing, or any other ground throw you prefer. You've got his Rage Drive, of course. Rage Art. I confuse them all the time. And of course you've got your combo potential. Which you can combo into, you know, a multitude of things. Like, for example, I always combo into leg breaker, big swing. Let's see if I can land it. Yeah, see, you've got leg breaker, big swing, among other things. Basically, think of it as like a super launcher on characters that have launchers. And then we'll do Leos, just to show off one that isn't a launcher. Little Leo. And Leo's is different. It's not a launcher. Unlike King's and Brian's, who both have launchers. King and Brian, who both have launchers, not plural Brian. But most characters that I know of have launchers on their Rage Drives. But Leo has this. That. But if you build enough distance, I think it's distance based, you get a long distance punch. It gives you a lot of time to think. And it can wall splat, which we'll just go ahead and talk about here. Wall splat, extra damage. Now if it doesn't wall splat, I've got that much damage. But if it wall splats, I've got the opportunity for a combo, and it does a little bit extra damage. It's enough to kill. That wall splat can really make a difference. Keep that in mind if you play somebody like Leo, or King, or, well, anybody really, that you can wall splat. Gag, welcome to the chat. And then you've got characters who got something a little different. You've got Kaz, who... And Kaz is the only character that has something like this. as of right now, I believe Kaz is the only character with a third option when in Rage. Kaz has his Rage Art and his Rage Drive, of course, like every other character. But there's one thing special about Kaz when in Rage. And I talked about it a little bit in my Kaz stream a while back. Of course, you've got your Rage Drive, you've got your Rage Art. But Kaz can do this when in Rage. He gets Demon Transformation. Now, I've talked about how I don't think Demon Transformation is that useful, because you've got to be at 20% HP for it to even happen. But if you do Hell's Gate, which is that command throw, you've kind of got the advantage, because that's 63 damage, plus you're in demon form, plus they're grounded. But Kaz can also just go straight into demon form, and that will take your rage out. If you use demon form, it will be the same as using a rage art or a rage drive. You will lose your rage. So you will lose the damage bonus, but you'll get demon form. And demon form opens up a whole new set of moves you can do, such as the lasers, like that laser. You know, you get access to the lasers. You get I think you get access to Hell's Gate. Let me check moves list. He gets a whole new moves list when he's in Heaven's Door. That's what it is. Yeah. And then you can do Heaven's Door whenever you're not in rage, because you're in demon form. And it's less damage. It's a lot less damage, but you got access to it. Now, Kaz is the only character that has something like that. And talking about special rage, King, if you get the full Kazuchika Okada set, his rage drive is his rage art is replaced with a special rage art. It's the same wind up, it's the same opening animation, but it's the same damage, but it's a different animation on the hit. It's a lariat rather than the bomb, the power bomb he usually has. Now, let's get back into this. And now that we've discussed Rage at length for about 20 minutes of me rambling on about it, we'll go into basic combos. And I'll turn Rage off because I want realistic looking damage. Now we'll go into basic combos. There will be... Oh, Rage is off. Okay, cool. There will be a video later on about advanced combo building and corkscrews and all that, but right now we're just going to talk about basic stuff, you know. Like, say for Brian, you've got your 1, 2, 3. You know, you've got built-in combos. And those can be pretty good. Like, I think that's Layers Dance. That's either Layers Dance or Whipping Fury. And that's 73 damage if you do full combo. And you know, you've got your down 3, you've got your down 3-2, etc., etc. A lot of characters have these basic button combos that are in the moves list that are easy to see but can mix things up. You know, like you've got this, which is an automatic corkscrew. You've got straight into Mach Punch. And with a character like Brian, you've got moves that go into Wave Dash, which can lead to new combo opportunities. You know, you've got something like this, where you do that. Hold on, let me just, you've got something like that. Something like that. You know, stuff like that. You can go Wave Dash Carry. you've got enough distance on your wave dash. You know, you've got a lot of basic combos you have access to immediately, like Snake Pit, the move I call Snake Pit. You've got counter combos. You know, you've got air combos. Like for example, normally this knee is just a mid. On counter, if you're right in front of the opponent, it sets up a juggle, which can go into a corkscrew and can give you a long combo. And then you can take it a step further, and off the corkscrew you can carry into wave dash, etc., etc. But basically, you want to experiment with your basic button combos. You know, your down twos and blah blah blah. Your 1-2-3s. Most characters have a 1-2-1 or a 1-2. Brian has a 1-2-4 and a 1-2-3. A lot of characters have basic 1-2 combos. Left, right, punch, punch, blah blah blah. And of course, when it comes to combos, you can get counter hits mid combo. DCUO, welcome to chat. You can get counter hits mid combo. Like normally 1-2-3 just does that. But if you get counter on the 3, it's a hard knockdown. 1-2-4 will just be something like that. But with a counter on the 4, it's the same thing. I thought it corkscrew, never mind. You've got this move, which is a knockdown. But with counter, it's a different kind of knockdown that I believe can continue a combo. If you're fast enough. You gotta be quick. And of course you can just go straight into a snake edge. Or a low. Maybe. Yeah, so you can just... The possibilities are endless with counters. If you're trying to land... If you're landing a combo... and somebody starts hitting buttons mid-combo, you know, you can get a counter hit, and that can mess them up pretty bad. And you know, if you're distanced, and somebody comes at you hitting a button, like if you're back here, and somebody comes at you, you've got a counter. You know, you fake somebody out, start a combo. Etc., etc. You know, you've got soccer kick, which is good for faking people out. You know, do it at a distance, they can run right into it and you'll get a counter. It's a hard knockdown. But basically, you've got all your basic combos, your 1s and 2s, and so on and so forth. You've got your power crushes. Power crush is a good ender for a combo. Say you land something basic like that, end it with a power crush. It's a quick ender. It's a lot of. It's a good chunk of damage. It's not gonna wow anybody at a tournament, but it can win an online match or two. You can end with a snake edge, which keeps them low. It keeps you low. It's harder to punish. You can end with another combo. Say we do this, and then we go for... And you've got to be careful too, because a corkscrew will put them low enough that they'll miss highs. Highs won't land. But say we do this. I didn't mean to do that. Say we do this. And then I can go open a whole nother combo, you know? Like... Say we land that, and then we do this. And then if you're fast enough, you can come up and open machine gun punch. And that's just a little bit of what Brian's basic combos can do, you know? Just experiment, see what works together, see what flows, see what fits. Learn the difference between a natural combo and a combo that can be broken. Learn a combo that jails, and a combo that can be countered. Learn what hits at what distance and what doesn't. Like that second knee will never hit off that, but off this. Okay. Never mind. Off this. Okay, come on now. That second knee will hit. Every extra hit added onto a combo, aside from your degradation, which, you know, your combos do less damage for each hit. That way you can't just 100% somebody unless you're Ponko and playing Akuma. Aside from degradation, every hit in a combo builds distance. See, I can only land 3 ones. Because on that 4th one, I've done so many hits that they're so far away that they can't continue to be hit. And you want to be careful about that. Because if you build too much distance and you start whiffing attacks, they're going to learn. Always try to end your combos, or always try to land a corkscrew. That way you can get a full combo, you can get full damage. That way you don't whiff anything. You know, always try to either end it with a hard knockdown or a corkscrew. If you don't know a corkscrew, land a hard knockdown. If you're playing Brian and you don't know any of his corkscrews, land a back 1 or a down 2. I'd recommend down 2. It comes out a little bit faster. And it's a solid knockdown. It's not as hard a knockdown as back 1. But it's faster. It can be used for a better ender. Like off a corkscrew, you've got down 2 is just knockdown. But if you use back 1, you've got a hard knockdown. It's more damage, but it's got to be timed a little better. Like, for example, if I were to do this, and I mistime my dash, or I don't get enough distance on my dash, then it's not going to connect. You know? But if I were to do this, that comes out just enough frames faster that you've got more leniency to dash forward or to close the distance. It's less damage, but it's safer, if you get what I'm saying. It's just faster, it's a guaranteed knockdown, and it works. So now that we've gone over basic combos, let's do walls. The root of Tekken is in walls, basically. 3D movement and walls. Now if you're next to a wall, you've got wall and you've got side wall, basically. If you're next to a wall and you land a move like a power crush that launches them forward like Leo's or Brian's, you'll get a wall splat, which can carry them for another combo. But you've got to be careful, because if you're close enough to a wall like I am, a lot of combos won't land. Like Jet Upper won't get the full distance. It'll just knock him up against the wall. Like that. You know, I can't land my usual combo. See? You can't land the full combo. A wall will cancel your combo, because they fall down a wall much faster than they do out of the air. Because every hit you land while they're against the wall is extra damage. You want to experiment with what you have that works against the wall. Like Brian's machine gun punch, that's a good wall attack. Because it's not very much damage normally, but when they're up against the wall, you get the splat every time it hits, and you get that extra damage, and it's guaranteed to land every time. Another good thing with Brian is the wave dash knee. You'll see a lot of pros use the wave dash knee on a wall combo. If I can land it. It's almost a reset. You've got wall resets. Characters like Hwoarang and Steve have better ones, but for somebody like Brian, you've got the knee, which can hit multiple times. You can land two and then land a third one. If you've got them sliding down the wall, if they're in a crouch position, you can land it. Properties change up against the wall. Like, for example, the crouch knee, the wave dash knee will not ground hit a normal opponent. But if you've got an opponent up against the wall, your wave dash knee will ground hit, because they've got nowhere to go. See, normally, it wouldn't work in that situation. But since they're up against the wall, I get the wall reset, I get the carry, and I just get to land more knees with extra damage. Not every launcher will put them up against the wall. Counter launcher like that? No. Which is why you want to land something like wave dash knee that will, for that extra damage. And then you've got wall carries. And a wall carry is basically when you start an air combo and you land a move that's quick and doesn't build very much distance, and you try to get them as close to the wall as you can, such as... And now that he's right up against that wall, I can run in for a wave dash knee, and I can get him up against it, I can get that extra damage, I can get my wall combo, etc, etc. Or you can do that, and then as they're getting up, you can run in for a power crush and just put them right up against the wall. And that's a good way to keep somebody on their toes when you're in a wall. Just run in for a power crush. If they block it, they're still up against the wall, they're still at a disadvantage. Not very many characters have an advantage when they're walled. Somebody like Brian, who's aggressive, can land a lot of good counter hits. You've sort of got an advantage up against the wall. Like, for example, if I were up against the wall, left wall. Okay. Back? Nope, that's just back turn. If I were up against the wall, and for example the enemy was coming right at me, you could go for counter hits, you could get right off that wall. We're going to turn counter hit on. And as soon as he gets up in my face to do that power crush, or whatever he's going to do to put me up against the wall, I can land a snake edge, I can land a counter knee, there's a number of things you can do to get off a wall. Walls aren't the end of the game for you. It may seem like it if you start to get wall comboed and it starts to hurt a lot, but it's not the end of the game. You can, with enough skill and good combos, carry yourself away from a wall. And if you watch a lot of EVO, you know, if you watch the best players, if you watch Tekken World Tour, I know Korea was recent, you can see people like JDCR and Saint carry from one wall to the other because they're just so good. You know, JDCR is a prime example of somebody that you don't want to get near anything. You know, like JDCR is probably the best in the world right now. Even though he lost to that new guy, Naroma or whatever. But if you see JDCR get up against the wall, you can watch him. Especially at EVO against Saint. You can watch him just go from one wall to the other with a counter hit. You know, he plays Dragunov. He can get a counter hit, and he can carry all the way from one wall to the next with a single counter hit. So basically, you want to spend a little bit of time practicing your character. You want to find the character you're good with. And then once you're comfortable with the character, you want to go to an arena like Mishima Dojo, and you want to practice walls. I'd recommend, when you're trying to find a character you're comfortable with, I'd recommend practicing at Infinite Azure or Snowfield if you like Snowfield. I can't play Snowfield, the background makes me sick. But once you get comfortable with the character, once you figure out the combos you've got, you're going to want to come to Mishima Dojo, which is the easiest wall stage. And you want to just practice your wall carries and your wall combos and all that. And that's something I'm guilty of not doing enough of. I never practice walls. But that's about the gist of today's Tekken school. You know, just get comfortable with walls, get comfortable with basic combos. Oh yeah. Let's talk about 10 strings for a minute. Every character usually has about 2 10 strings. And it's a 10-hit combo. It looks neat. They require a lot of buffering. I can't land Brian's for the life of me. But basically, your 10 string is, I don't want to say it's your easiest combo, but it's not too hard. And the thing with a 10 string is, 9 times out of 10, unless you're playing King or somebody, like King's 10 string 2 ends with a throw. But getting to that point is difficult, because a 10 string isn't technically a natural combo. A 10 string can be countered out of, it can be blocked in the middle of, it doesn't jail. And it actually can put you at a disadvantage if you drop it. Because your frames are all messed up, the moves are all tied together, so it messes with the frames. And you can't get a counter in the middle of a 10 string. Because they can't be started until they land. You can only go so far with a 10 string until you land it. Like for Brian, you can only go to that first one. But if you land the first one, you can continue the 10 string. They look cool, but don't place any bets on a 10 string. They're really easy to read, they're easy to break, they don't jail, and they just aren't a safe bet compared to, you know, something like this. Not that, this. You know, a combo that gives you a lot of air time, that gives you a lot of different moves. It's a very mixed up combo. You know, you can use a 10 string if you want to disrespect somebody. 10 strings are good for disrespect. You know, show off, I'm so much better than you that I can land a 10 string on you and you can't do anything about it. But if you try to land a 10 string against a high level player, or at a tournament, you're probably not going to have a very good time. Because they can break, they don't have counter properties, they don't jail, they leave you at a disadvantage if you whiff. Like, for example, Kings has stagger kicks in the middle, and if you whiff on the stagger kick, you just sit on the ground for like 10 seconds. And it's not good. How do I do Chains of Misery? I just want to do it one more time before I end this. Where's Chains of Misery at? There we go. But basically, you know, don't depend on your 10 string. It's not going to get you anywhere. It looks neat, and it's fun to use against the computer, but it's not going to get you anywhere in a tournament situation. It's not a tournament viable move. Unless you're JDCR or Saint, who can land a 10 string on you and not even care. When I do the advanced combo video, which will be coming up soon, I'll go over alternatives to 10 strings, like, for example, this. You know, that's 6 hits, and that's more damage than the 10 string offers. You know, like, and 10 strings, honestly, the damage isn't even that good. You're better off landing a natural combo. Aside from being easily punishable and not very safe and kind of difficult to pull off, 10 strings don't even do that much damage for how cool they look. But I think that's where we're going to end this one. I hope I could teach you. I hope this helps you learn. If it does, make sure to leave a like, you know, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you like the content. And if you're one of my usual viewers, somebody that comes by for almost every stream, make sure and leave a comment. Tell me if you like the content, if you like Tekken School. Make sure to check out my other videos. Make sure to go follow the Twitch channel, because there'll be some ranked Brian on there here soon. This weekend, maybe. And I'll be putting a lot more content on the Twitch channel too. I'm not gonna stop streaming to YouTube. I'm gonna continue to stream YouTube. I'm gonna continue to stream mainly to YouTube, but I'm gonna start putting a lot more content on the Twitch channel. So be sure to go follow that so you get notifications as to when I'm streaming on there, so you don't miss anything. And again, you know, if you like the content, like, comment, subscribe. It means more than you can. It means the world to me that you'd even take the time to watch my content. So no, you know, take a few seconds to leave a like. You know, leave a comment. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. Tell me where I can improve. And I think that's about it. Catch me here every night.